Stationary guard is a guy that's basically positioned in a strategic and or tactical advantage point, and they are there to observe everything that's coming in towards the neighborhood. Now, this is using the foxhole method. A foxhole method was originally thought of in World War II. World War I, they were using trench warfare. World War II, they started actually pushing out, and they would dig foxholes in a 360-degree circle, and they would always have number 12 facing to the direction of contact. Now, they'd also would do fox lines in a line like this, but if this was a platoon that was operating independently away from the actual, like behind enemy lines, this was how they would do it. And they would, that way, because theoretically the enemy could come from any position. The senior leadership and whatnot would be in the center along with the medic, and they would have guys pushed out, and they would be battle buddied in these foxholes, 2 to a hole. And as you can see, it's using the clock method. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the rear, 9 here, 12 front, 3 there. So that way, if they ever got contact, all they had to do was call out number 7, and they would know that they would get contact from this side. And you're going to camouflage the foxhole the best you can so that it's not as easily visible. The reasoning you do that is if somebody's coming along trying to get in, by the time they recognize that's a foxhole there, it's too late, they're getting shot. Now again, they have intersecting fields of fire as they're shooting out. We learned more about that in our neighborhood security course, and also the infantry tactics. So these foxholes now have these intersecting fields of fire. If they absolutely have to engage somebody, it's not just one guy shooting at them, it's 2 guys shooting at them. All right, if you're in a situation where everybody knows your community's there, which is pretty much always going to be the case, you can position cars like this. Also, notice we're using half of the vehicles. We're using cars instead because it's a nice flat area and I don't need to be elevated. If you have to elevate to be able to see, I would recommend you doing a couple different things. One, you could use stationary towers, and you just number your towers 1 all the way through 6 down here. You'd have your traffic control point here, and I'd put a secondary one in the rear just as an escape route, kind of like a little miniature hole in the wall. I would definitely run a HESCO barriers. You can buy those online. It is a large basket. Basically, we used them in Iraq. They're about 5 feet wide and about 8 feet tall. You fill it full of dirt, and it's totally bulletproof and shrapnel proof and all kinds of good fun stuff. The problem is you can't see through it. And that's why you have to elevate these towers over those barriers, over the HESCOs. So you can run 3 strands of wires here. Simple barbed wire fence will be fine. Your first strand should be literally right up on top of these towers. And it needs to be electrified, and it needs to be very, very, very close together. And still use barbed wire, even though I know everybody's like, well, you can't electrify barbed wire. Yes, you can. We use it on the farm quite a bit, and it works like a freaking boss. You want that one danger close, and you want it extremely hard to get through. You're going to have a second one, and it's not going to have a whole lot of distance. You're probably looking maybe 4 feet. And your third one, on the other hand, it's going to be on out there. It's going to be about 10 feet in front of that, and it's only going to have 3 or 4 strands. The idea is you want them to get right about here, and once they're right about there, well, now they're in the kill zone, because they're going to grab this hot fence and try to go through it, and it's going to be a pain in the butt. They're going to get hung up in it. A good solid 100-mile cattle fence, the hot box will freaking work like a boss here. Now the problem is you got to have electricity to run it. So if they're getting hit here, you start shooting at them from this tower and then this tower, well, they have really nowhere to go. They've got to go either out, back through that 3 strand, which they have to stop and crawl through it the whole time they're taking lead, or they're going to run like this horizontally, which just gives your guys target practice. I mean, they're not going anywhere. They're going to have to run the whole perimeter. It's too easy. At some point, they're going to hit the daggone TCP and get lit up there. That's your overall layout that you want to use in a wartime situation.